Welcome everyone, and particularly our guest of honor, Xidus Pain, who I'm so happy to finally see face to face, well, virtually.
Yeah.
After all this time, we met a few months ago because we took part in the BBC listening project. Faye Hatcher put us in contact, and we had a 2-hour conversation, and it was a wonderful conversation, and it was wonderful to find out about your work, what you do as a rap artist, and what hip hop culture is. I was very ignorant of all this before speaking with you. So, and I was very interested in the work that you do, the community engagement that you do as well through your work. So
thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, for agreeing to come. Hopefully next time we'll meet on campus.
Yeah, it's like we're taking steps, aren't we? It's like the phone, online, and then campus.
Yes, so welcome to this event, the ArtsFest event at the University of Wolverhampton. And now it's all over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, basically, yeah, my name's Xidus Pain. I'm a music practitioner / rap artist. And yeah, I'm going to be leading the session. I know it's a bit different from how I'd normally do my sessions, even though I've been doing sessions online. I was going to start off with a song to introduce myself. Sometimes I feel like I rap better than I speak, so I'll let my rap talk for itself. I'll share my screen. You see the desert. Right, so the first track I'm going to do is an introduction track, and it's called Born to Flow. And it just shows, I like the song because it shows all my different type of styles. So there's a lot of metaphors in there, double meanings, pop culture references. Yeah, there's just stacks of things. I may stop and point things out to you as well. So here we go. Oh yeah, just let me know as well with levels and whether you can hear me properly. Can you hear the music? Yeah. What about myself? I'll turn it down a little bit. You can hear me? Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, okay. Right. I'll start it again. I missed my cue. Right. That wasn't part of the song. Can you hear me? It could be an additional part. No matter the weather, I switch up scorcher than I rain prior like Richard's daughter. You know why? I'm buzzing and fresh, I can't sleep. For sleep is the cousin of death. I'll give my brothers and sisters, Robbie, Roy and Jane, the respect. I'm sorry, I was such a pain in the neck. All butts aside, I aim to correct on my wrongs to right. That Dr. Sam Beckett in Quantum Leap, I'm the type to strike. Before I slide, I strike with sight, be on sight up on a mic. Cause in life, I had it hard, but tarot cards that hold the key to George Barrett's path. Since way before my teens, I've had bigger dreams. My flow's the river Nile plus the river Nene, which leaves these weak fiend schemes blasted to smithereens. Yeah, to remain focused is to maintain the goal, to achieve the perfect, cause I weren't born to fool, but stand tall in soul. No matter what, I was born to flow, born to flow. To remain focused is to maintain the goal, to achieve the perfect, cause I weren't born to fool, but stand tall in soul. No matter what, I was born to flow. Rapping's my martial arts, you know what my stance is. Both palms together, I call it the praying mantis. Like, our Father who art in heaven, thy kingdom come. Sisters and brethren stand together as one. Together we're strong. Plus we got Surefire, who's a legend like John. You hear the beat? understand that's him working with a mind that's deeper and darker than Tim Burton. The truth was serving if you've been searching. Mics are murking, beats are hurting. I'm the borough arsonist on your streets, I'm lurking. Pain's part of the illest in it, like illest in Yakka's village. I rap with soul plus attack with lyrics, pushing things forward. I ain't got time for no backwards business. What is this? It's business. To remain focused is to maintain the goal, to achieve, to perfect, cause I weren't born to fall, I stand tall in soul. No matter what, I was born to float, born to float. To remain focused is to maintain the goal, to achieve, to perfect, cause I weren't born to fall, I stand tall in soul. No matter what, I was born to float. I'ma show you some vocal wizardry. These subtitle thoughts that are launched, they're known as a visual mystery, forming a solid plan. Electronic arts in bars, but what we can't grasp is just a hologram. Our beats affect the neck like a razor's edge. Instead, your head gets trapped in a body slam. In the speed of a supersonic scan, witness my illicit and explicit bionic twang, link like chain gang. I calculate bars with ease as a breeze, cause I think like Rain Man. I'ma show you this overthrow syndicate game plan right now. To remain focused and to maintain the goal. Yeah, so yeah, that was my intro, my introduction. I'll come out of my screen, so I'll stop the share and back. Yeah, so basically what I normally do within my workshops, because they do tend to last 2 hours, but in this one, it's more so of a concise workshop. And because I can't really see anyone, I can, oh, I just saw someone say, yes, I can hear you. Yeah, I wanted to do my introduction and then also just ask the people that are in the chat and the people that are online if you have any questions at all. So we can go into the questions.
Yes, you've talked about metaphor. Can you tell us a little bit more about your use of language in the lyrics?
Yeah, sure. Like when it comes to language within lyrics, I have a passion for words and sounds. I call myself a wordsmith. So. Yeah, I literally, I sit there for hours just going over certain words. And even when I go through town, I look at signs and make like other words out of the words. Like I look at words differently and always try to look at the double meaning within a word. Like I have my my rhyming book here, and I write these things I call notes and quotes. So that's what I do in the morning, and it's just for fun. And yeah, I write certain words that I love the sound of. Like when we had our interview together, there were certain words that you said, and then I wrote the words down, and then I'll decipher the actual word. As an example, I guess like it'll be like a word like wisdom, and then I'll look at wisdom and then be like, oh, wise dome, and then think about what a wise dome would be, meaning that a dome is the head, so it'll be like a wise head. And then if I was to use it in a lyric, it would be wisdom, wise dome, even dome of the wise, taking words and manipulating them, moving them in front, and for myself, that's what I feel the true essence and key of being a wordsmith is, manipulating words and playing with words and using them to suit your like outcome, like whether it's a song or whether it's trying to get a point across, you know, within conversation.
We have a few questions already, so I will read them out. So Upskill says, who is your biggest influence?
Like I have many different influences. My biggest influence will be my oldest brother who got me into rap, but he's not in it anymore. But he was my influence, as in he kind of showed me what to do, or not even showed me. He was rapping, and then I joined him, and because I was young, I was about 6 or 7 when I started, so. And it was just part of trying to play on a video game, and that's how I got into it. Rapping wise, I feel I'm inspired by everyone and anything that I listen to. Like I do really like people like, you know, your Jay-Z's, your Kendrick Lamar's, your J. Cole's, British artists like Dave, Kano, people who actually use their voice and their platform to state the way the world is and to make a difference and have great wordplay as well.
That's interesting. I know you did some work, you did some performances during the Black Lives Matter. So was that something that you felt very strongly about and that you performed?
I felt very strongly about there being inequality, because obviously if someone is murdered, then the people there or the people that done it should be accountable for that. So, you know, whether it was George Floyd or anyone else, you know, like it would be the same, because it's an injustice, isn't it? So it wasn't so much for the movement of Black Lives Matter, because that's a movement within itself. But for me, it was more so about the act and the humanity, or the non-humane way he was treated, like, because he's a human, like, you know. So yeah, I felt more about that equality, because that if we did a song called Burning Crosses, and which is coming out on a project called Stop Shooting, which has a lot of rap artists and singers, producers from all across the world on there, and it's like for peace, you know.
Thank you. There is a question from Michelle, who says, how do you do sessions with young people to help them write lyrics and understand music and lyrics? She works with many young people through the Children's Society. And if this is something you may do, maybe worth linking you up with our activities coordinator. So she's inviting you to do some work with her. So how do you do sessions with young people to help them write?
Yeah, I've been doing sessions with young people for over 10, 15 years. And it's basically helping them with their self-expression, building up their confidence, and also helping them with their communication. And there's loads of like transferable skills which they'll learn, you know, skills they can take into work, like how to be around other people and respect other people as well within the workshops. You learn that just by the way I conduct myself and conduct the sessions, because it's like everyone's equal and everyone's getting taken seriously because they're respecting each other. And they have fun, so it's not like strict. You know, that's one of the bonuses, that they get to have fun whilst learning all of these other skills, which they like. Yeah, there's transferable skills, so they get to learn all these other skills without knowing that they're learning them. An example of a session that I did actually with a young man, and he was basically having issues with his father, so he didn't live with his father, and he wanted to get his, because I'm arts award trained as well, so I can give up arts award sessions. So this young man was trying to achieve his arts awards. He wasn't in school, no other education, and the sessions that we were doing were part of his schooling. So as part of the arts awards, you have to teach someone how to do what you've learned. So we brought his dad in, and they didn't have a very good relationship. But then we videoed it, and I had like goosebumps, and his social worker was like, wow, like, you know, they're sat there, they're talking, he's talking, and he's rapping with his dad, and that's someone that he doesn't really get on with, and his dad's nearly in tears because he's proud of his son, and the son's proud of his dad, and it's like, I'm nearly in tears, I'm shaking with the camera, like, wow. And it's that's the power of the workshops used right, correctly, rap. And so yeah, I do so many different workshops with young people and other people as well. People with additional needs, severe cases of autism. Worked at Wild's Lodge, which is a therapeutic school for boys. Phoenix, which was a school for young people with severe additional needs, like, you know, ranging from being paralytic from the neck down.
Paraplegic.
Paraplegic, sorry, sorry. Paraplegic from the neck down. And yeah, so, but they were writing and you know, being part of the session and felt included, which is very good.
It's a mode of expression. You've talked to me as well about working in prisons, haven't you?
Yeah. I work in a lot of prisons for an organisation called Finding Rhythm, where we go into prisons and help prisoners gain a qualification, like a BTEC within music. And also, if some of the inmates are about to come out, it just shows them, we show them different parts of the music industry. So it's not just the rap side of things. So there's 3 of us that would normally go into a prison. Like, say myself, I would be leading the session, then you'd have someone who's a sound engineer, and someone who's a musician, play a guitar or the keys, and then or a singer. And then we'd create songs from Monday to Friday, would create songs and just create a whole album and create and have artwork as well. So they'll design it. Like, one of my most memorable ones was a project the inmates called How Men Prevail, HMP, How Men Prevail, used it as an acronym. And if you listen to the project, it's a mixture of, like, from garage, from soul. Like, there's a song on there that sounded like Bill Withers. We got really soulful. There's a song on there that sounds like Oasis wrote it, and like, you know, so it's and there's a country type song. So it was like a mixture of everyone's likes and pushing people to go outside of their comfort zone. And for them, it's on the actual album where they're like, this is like therapy, you know, for us, because we're men, obviously, in a prison where you have to have an extra mask up on top of a mask, because it's all about the bravado, isn't it, of being big. And you know, so these sessions allowed them to talk about their families, talk about missing their families, talk about righting their wrongs, and have better, greater aspirations. And it was really, oh, sorry, I was reading the comment. Yeah, and they are online. I can leave a link. Oh yeah, I think someone's just popped it online, the How Men Prevail. Yeah, if you listen to the skit How Men Prevail, they talk about, you know, their journeys and how it's helping. And I think there was one guy who's been in the prison system for like 25 years, and he was like, this is the best thing I've ever done. Like, because it allowed him to go back to his youth and, you know, reflect on life, like, and family. So yeah, there's so many memorable moments within them sessions that I learned from. there's actually a skit which was amazing, because there was a guy who just finished these works straight away. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to challenge you. I would like you to write a letter to the school governing board explaining what you felt failed within the school system, but write it in a poem or spoken word piece, and that's on there as well. I can't remember which album it is though, but he wrote a letter to the governing board, and then I was like, yeah, that's amazing. And then I said, now you write a letter back as the governor of the governing board, and explain why you feel they haven't like, you know, done any of the things that you would have liked to see changed. And then yeah, it was really, it was amazing. And there's something that we had, because there was a lady from, I think she was from she was really like, high up within the prison system, so she collated what happened within all the prisons, all the extracurricular stuff that happens. And she came in and she was just like, wow. And then she said, this is what we would like. And then we managed to facilitate a talk with some of the younger, in the YOs, the young offenders, and the older inmates, about like music and the difference between drill music and trap music, and like coming out of what they're into, like, you know, the whole culture. And they were very honest, and it was like it lasted like an hour and a half, and we had to cut it off. And she was just like, because they can't get them to do things like that, because how would you facilitate that without it being something to do with music? And so it was recorded, and I think we have like a minute or something on an album, on one of the albums, but it didn't do it justice, because it was like, yeah, it was, I could go on for ages about it, but it didn't do it justice. And the honesty within what some of the people were saying was just like, wow. And yeah, it's like it's a wake-up call. And
that sounds very exciting. So when you work with people on creating music and lyrics, what do you start from? Do you start with like a number of words that you want to create music to, or do you start with the music? I'm talking as a complete ignorant of how these things work, by the way, as you can probably tell.
It's you start. I have different ways of starting. See, with me, I've been writing. I've written 31 projects in 31 months, which is like, so within the projects, there's no less than 7 songs. So every single month within 31 months, like the most on a project was 21 songs. So I've been consistently, and it's over 2 years I've been doing this just as exercise, and then also doing features, and also doing other singles, and also doing work with other organizations and jingles for companies. So when it comes to writing, for me, I just write, and if I'm in a session, then it's through a conversation. I've had sessions where people are like, I'm not very musical. I'm not into music. I just dance, and then I'm like, okay, so you dance. Tell me your favorite style of dance. I like jazz. Okay, so within jazz dance, what moves can you do? And then they say what moves you can do, and then we take one of the moves. But if we switch it to, because hip hop, or like if we switch it to hip hop dance, there's like, you know, locking and popping with breaking. So if someone was to say locking and popping, then I'll be like locking and popping, dropping and chopping, stopping with what, like it has like a nice flow and a nice melody to it. It's already sounding like it's a rap. So it's that simple. Like it's as simple as putting a word out there that you really like. So if you have an example of a word, like Do you have a word, Jay?
Oh, I think I shall ask the participants to give you some words for you to work from. Oh, Afria says truth.
Thank you, thank you. I love the name as well. Very unique. Oh, is that the word?
Yes, I think that's...
I thought they were just like saying right on, that's the truth. Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, truth, like truth, and then you can go to the opposite of the truth is lies, truth, lies, and then true lies, the truth lies and true lies with the truth eyes and true eyes and two, like, so it goes on, and that's just from that word of truth. And then you can get poetic over it. So truth, and then do your spider chart, the truth spoken, the truth, and you can do different things to do with the truth, like how it can be spoken, how the truth can be, you know, is it idioms, different idioms to do with truth, and you can just work them into a song, and even things that you know from truth, like there's plenty of like movies based on truth. There's True Lies. There's things like even gimmicky things like Liar Liar. You know, and it's just having that one initial word, or not even one initial word. If you have the music and you just you make a noise. You, like certain rappers start off a song by going, oh yeah, and it's a vibe which you create, because the music and the words are within you. It's like a conversation, voice or vocals, what, as a word? Or
I think there's an interesting question from Cynthia as well. What is the truth in your name, Pain? I remember us starting our conversation for the BBC with that. Where does your name come from? So you might want to explain that.
Yeah, so basically my name, it used to be Georgie B, and because my real name is George. So and then I had a friend who used to call himself Genesis, and then Genesis G, and then we used to do like a circuit of battling. They similar to Don't Flop, or similar to 8 Mile with like the whole Eminem thing, and my friend used to start the battles as a Genesis, and then I used to come in and be kind of like the end and make them depart, like the Exodus. So, and then we used to always say Genesis to Exodus. So, and then I used to spell my name differently, and then I thought, actually I can't spell it like the Bible, so let me change it. So I changed it into an acronym, which stands for X. X is Exodus, I is, D is the, but the, Universal, U, S, soldier, but spelt as in soul, and jar, meaning a creator, or the creator, and pain, P is possessing. So Exodus is the universal soldier possessing an international notion, because I have an international notion in my, and it's like getting people together from different countries, the whole globe, and working together. Yeah. See, I told you I spend a lot of time with my words and overanalyze things. I'll probably sit down and analyze the video of this. I'll be like, whoa, I see, you know.
But Exodus, do you think it's time for us to hear a bit more of your singing?
What I'll do is an actual intro, and this breaks down what I was saying to you about my name. Yeah, and it's just my intro. Can you hear that? everyone on this earth feels pain, that's a starter. You see the Exidus Pain is the departure. Exodus, what's that, my friend? Well, broken down, that's an acronym, right? Exodus is the universal soldier. The globetrotter, go tell him that I told you. The show rocker, I spit venom like Cobra. Libra, my pain was born on October the 14th. I learned things the hard way. Feeling it some pain for the UK to Zimbabwe. This ain't a bling track, in fact it's rapping up cabbage, y'all. Come follow me, I'll take you over the pain cabbage, y'all. From Cheatham, Peterborough to the bridge. I saw the motherland, y'all, suffer as a kid. I did, I saw my brother suffer and it's sick. I wish I could flip the script and know your pain with just Exodus, right? And know your pain with just Exodus, right? And know your pain with just Exodus, right? Yeah. I'm the verbal gladiator, barbarian type. You see my tongue's a big sword in its golden axe fight. Picture me on horseback like Ralph Lauren symbol. I've got mutant DNA. I feel invincible, the hot scorching. Just like igneous rock, my spit burns like dust fires in Sydney and Wolf. Scar's ghetto. It's off the streets like leaves change. I'm twice this still. I'm the kid with two brains that ain't got time for jokers. Like Bruce Wayne, I keep a low profile. I refuse aim. Cut out the cannon. You hold the huge flame. Exodus, yeah, that's this dude's name. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So.
Thank you very much. We have some more questions, which I've only just seen.
Let me come out so I can see the question.
From Daisy, we have a question, which is, who are the poets and the lyricists who have inspired you, and which stories do you most like to tell?
Sorry, could you say that again? I was reading Faye's comment.
Oh, has Faye been plugging the BBC?
Yeah, if you'd like to check out the listening project, it's on the conversation is well, it is stored in the British Library, and it's also on the BBC. So if you check for our names, it should be there, right?
I think it was a conversation on the 14th of March. I think it was more Mother's Day, so I think it's easy to find. But Faye has put the link in.
Yeah, if I'd seen that
in the chat.
Yeah, because I'm not scrolling down, it just remains up, so I'm seeing everyone's messages a bit late. So what was the question?
So who are the poets and the lyricists who have inspired you, and which stories do you most like to tell?
I could tell a really cool one, actually. When I was about 7 or 8, I remember a poet coming into my school, Benjamin Zephaniah, and yeah, I was really, I'd never seen anything like it, and I was really taken back, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, and it really got me into poetry. Though I didn't write a lot, I used to just freestyle as a child, but he just really influenced me, and I still remember what he did. And fast forward to 15 years later, I was getting interviewed. I think it was Black History Month in the building above us, actually, because I'm in the studio, and but just in the side office. So it's the building above us. I was getting interviewed, and then Benjamin Zephaniah walked in, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I was really unprofessional. I said, oh, and then I was so excited because I'd followed him. I had his like videos and everything, and then we spoke, and then he's like, oh yeah, cool, and I told him the story, and I was like, and you're here, and he was just like, yeah, and then I said, oh, I want you to listen to my album, like when you get a chance, please, and he's like, yeah, sure, like, here you go, and he gave me an address, so I sent it to him, but then because I moved house, I didn't get his reply, and then where were we? We bumped into each other again, and we kept bumping into each other, and then yeah, now we're like friends. He's come to the studio, we've had studio sessions, we spoke and got to chill. He calls sometimes and asks how I am. I gave him, this is a few albums down the line, I gave him one of my other albums and we did a trade and he gave me his, and then he called me, and then he was just like listening to my album and he's like, wow. He wasn't like driving and calling me, but like he stopped, and then he was just like, wow, I'm loving this song, and it just made me really happy. And then yeah, so yeah, that's a story of someone that I really looked up to, and who inspired me.
Yeah, he's
kind of.
wonderful, isn't he? He was Birmingham Poet Laureate as well a few years ago. So more questions. Do you have any tips for writer's block, please?
Yeah, it depends on what you're blocked about as well. So when it comes to writer's block, it's usually for a reason. So when I feel when you're blocked, you can just write sentences about the things that are stopping you from writing, because it's normally maybe like, not, I wouldn't say a breakup, or if something, a sudden change within your life has happened and then you're like not feeling inspired, or you could feel inspired, or you're just blocked because of if there's a reason, then write about the reason. If not, if you have a favorite song that you know inside out, this was a tip given to me to basically do a refix of the song. So rewrite the song. You can do it to the melody of the song, and then if you have a friend, anyone who's within listening range, show them the song. Don't tell them what song you originally wrote it to. So for instance, if it was Jay-Z 99 Problems, and then I wrote like my own version using similar rhyme schemes to his, and then gave it to someone and said, oh, could you read that for me? And in the way that they read it and the inflections of it, it will be different to how I wrote it and over that beat. And then you can just find a new beat for it. Or if it's a song that you've sang, you can sing it to a different instrumental. And with writer's block, it's just a case of writing over the writer's block, because to get out of writer's block, you need to write. And whether you're feeling what you're writing or not, it doesn't matter. Just wake up, force yourself to free fall with the writing. Just write whatever, whether it's words, whether it's like just any word, like truth, voice, spoken, eyes. Like you could just write it, make a list, and then do like a spider diagram off them, and do words that you would associate with them. And then whatever you've done there, you could also do rhyme schemes with that, and it can be like an abstract song. And then when you're feeling more up to writing, because you've got your writing juices going, you can go back on what you've written and then spruce it up a little. That's what I do when I'm blocked. I just and read, watch movies, get inspired from movies, get inspired when you read. I tend to read like physical copies of books, because if you're reading on a Kindle or reading on your phone, it's like you have that distraction in that artificial light. Read a real book, write real words, write real lyrics, and actually feel it and zone out, and it will have you playing pictures and scenes within your mind. And yeah, they're just some of the techniques that you can use.
It's an interesting question, which reminds me of a bit of a conversation we had with Faye. Is all of your work clean? So many artists use hardcore profanity, and what are your thoughts on that style?
With hardcore profanity, it's like I liken it to a movie, like say Quentin Tarantino. When you watch one of his films, you know what to expect. But then if I'm watching his film, I'm not gonna keep watching all of his films and then keep complaining because you know what to expect. So it's whatever you focus on. When I watch his films, I always focus on the artistry. Like it could be like even with like songs that are, you know, songs that were like cheesy or corny or whatever you like to call them. Like that's why I said I listen to like almost everything, from, you know, Ace of Base to Usher to Jay-Z to MOP to West Side Gun to Take That to like, because I enjoy people that can write or that I feel can write, and me not listening to someone just because I think, oh, that's not cool, kind of stunts my own growth. Like, and that's how I see things. And when it comes to profanity, I can, within my mind, I can block it out, but I just don't play it around like, you know, my children, and I don't play it around the young people that I work with. If they're showing me something and it has got profanity, like you know, I'll have to say, like, you know, this is a session, you need to respect everyone else. Like, and most of the people that have profanity within their lyrics, if they're glorifying something that's negative, I won't really carry on listening to it. But if they're highlighting their life and saying, like, there's a young boy who's online talking about what's happening with Israel and Palestine, and he's only what, 12, and he's rapping like in all the debris of what's happening, saying, you know, like, my family and this and this. And for me, he's talking about violence, but he's highlighting his reality and what's happening. So I wouldn't be like, oh no, turn that off. It's like, no, that's his reality, and I respect people's reality and how they write things. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question: what are your views on drill music?
Yeah, they're quite similar to what I just said, because with drill, there's an art to it. If you listen to it for the negative, then that's what you pick out. If you listen to it for they have a lot of like really clever wordplay. They have a lot of similes and metaphors within that. You know, even though I know what they mean when they say chefing, which is stabbing, but then that's wordplay within itself, saying chefing, you know. And when you tell someone that and you're like, oh, that's a nice use of, like, you know, and then they're like, oh, yeah, I didn't even mean to do that, you know. And then you're breaking that whole barrier that was created there because they felt like you're not listening to them. Like, if people know that other people are listening to them, they change it. If you look at drill artists when they start and the ones that broke through to the mainstream, they don't sound the same after they've broken into the mainstream, because they've been in bigger studios with big sound engineers, and they kind of guide them on how to actually create a song, and then they become more infatuated with creating hits and songs that last within that genre, but still keep it real to what they do, using some of the slang. So yeah.
One question: to what extent do you think about a story or a plot or a narrative in your songs?
It just depends, really, because I've written so many stories. Sometimes I write them. I could write a story based on like a movie. I could actually write a story within my mind and picture it. That's and then base what I've written on that, if that makes sense. Or there's so many ways of writing a story. The plots in a hat twist, you know, where you just pull out certain names and you can do it as a game with a group. One thing that I did, which was really good, was a couple of sessions in some libraries, and I worked with the young people that I worked with. I gave them 10 minutes to. It was like one of them old TV shows game shows where you could just rummage the library, and because there weren't that many people in there anyway, so I was like, go wild. 10 minutes, pick a book. You can even judge a book by its cover. I don't mind. Go. And then they'll come back with a book. And then I said, right, what we're going to do with this book now is either write a continuation of the story. So just read you don't have to read the whole book, just read the synopsis and find out what the book is about. Like this girl wrote an amazing song based on Velveteen Rabbit. And I was just like, wow. And it was so deep. And, you know, she was singing about the rabbit, like almost like a love story. Was it the rabbit that she was singing about, or was it a guy? And it was really interesting. And she was like, your button eyes, and and it was just like, wow. I still have that somewhere. And another young lad got the BFG. So he did like a continuation of it, like where he went after and what happened after. I think there was a little bit of a showdown, or what happened after that. Someone got a comic book with Hulk, and then they just did like a whole poem based on Hulk smashing, because they were quite young. But then the way they did the poem was like amazing. So it was just literally using even front covers, the back of a story, a continuation of a story that doesn't have a sequel, a prequel of a story. So they had that many options, but then they're being creative within themselves, because they're thinking about this and where to go with it. And that's how I approach my writing. It's no, I could easily just sit here and do a Usual Suspects thing. I don't want to spoil the film if no one's seen it, and just make up a story based on things that are in the room. You know, like there's a troll, there's a Pokemon, and write a story, but make it a credible story. You know, you could use the troll as a, like the troll could be like a darker person, because trolls were under bridges. So the troll could be the person who lurks under the bridge, and the Pokemon could be someone who you think looks cute but is quite fierce, and that's just from picking up something in the room, like. And with me, I don't switch off when it comes to creativity. I don't switch off unless obviously I'm with my family. I'm not at the dinner table going, right, we're going to make something out of the potatoes and the broccoli. I could do. I might try and explore that, but it's just, yeah, that creative energy. I have it within myself. That's why I can have a discussion with someone who feels that like they have writer's block, and then after the discussion, they'll start talking about, yeah, I'm going to start my album next week or tomorrow, or you know, and just because that's what I do, just because that I write, and yeah.
One question, which feel free to ignore. Was there anything traumatic or difficult that you have experienced, or a painful event that led you to cling to rap music?
Yeah, there's been a lot. Like there was sadly, like the death of my mother when I was quite young, and then the death of my sister after that. Like I feel that I couldn't have got through, because they were so close together, and my sister was only a year older than myself. So it was just like, you know, I feel if I didn't have music, then I wouldn't have anything I could have gone to. Like certain people go towards drugs and alcohol, but I choose music because that is kind of like what I confide in. So when those happened, I didn't write as much as I write now, but I freestyled a lot. So and I did a lot of work, and I'd do battles, go to battles, and it was tough because within battles, they talk about your mum and stuff. So I had to, it taught me to be very resilient and kind of brush things off. So like, yeah. That's what I thank music for being that focus point. And I know we all use music as that. Like, you know, we'll have songs that take us and transport us to certain places. It's like a time machine. You could listen to a song and then you'll be like, oh, I remember this when I was studying, or when I was growing up. My parents used to play that song, and it brings that emotion, and that's the strength and power within music that people tend to forget. The amazing thing about rap is what I always say within my workshops. It differs from singing, because sometimes like people are like, oh, I'm tone deaf, I'm this, I'm that. But then with rap, you could literally talk on a beat, and you feel like you're rapping. But then it's easy to do and instant gratification. But then it's complex and it will take forever to master. That's why people like Jay-Z and Eminem, Melle, they're like in their 60s. Melle is not Jay-Z, but Melle is, and he's still rapping and doing shows and touring. And, you know, so it's like, it takes forever to master. It's like painting. You wouldn't stop painting, or because you feel like, oh, I'm past a certain age now, I can't paint. It's your self-expression, create. Whatever you do, like, you know, life is about creating and sharing what you create, like, with people.
There's one question from Aaron, which says, do you cater your lyrics for the audience, or do you just write whatever you're feeling?
That's a good question. A bit of, I was going to say a bit of both, but I just write. There's certain times where I go into the booth and just freestyle and get things off my chest, and I won't show them to anyone, but I'll record it so it's off my chest. Or when I do write, if I write something that I feel I don't really feel like I want to share that, then I don't. But like, I've written things that I've only I've done for myself and showed it to people, and they're like, oh, I like that. And I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, I love that. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. I just literally, it took me like a few minutes. I just freestyled the chorus, and they're like, oh, you know, and then it becomes bigger than what I meant it to be.
There's a lovely comment from Naomi, who says, I wish we had another 3 hours. You're a genius and uber inspiring. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll be welling up now. I'll be like, stop.
I do agree. Do we have any more questions? Have I missed a question somewhere?
Do you have a specific technique when you're writing rap / spoken word, or do you write more when that flows? Also, what's your editing process? What are good tips to freestyle? Yeah, there's quite a lot. Yeah, when it comes to writing, as I said, like here, where it would be like master key, the master key, and then I'll just be like, I think of something and then say asking me, and then dastardly. And then I think of rhymes that rhyme with that. Sometimes that's not the whole process, the be all and end all and be all. It's just like literally different processes of doing it. Like certain times it could just be a conversation and words are going over and over in my head, and then I'm like, oh, I could link that with that. And if I don't have a pen and I can't get to my phone, then I just do my best to write it within my head as a chorus or something and make it repetitive. And so yeah, there's so many different techniques when it comes to starting a song. Yeah, as I've shown, the master key, just from that, and then I could just say, I'm the one who holds the master key. If you're asking me, I master them and then master thee, and like, and that's already a song and I could just call that Master of Masters or Master of Ceremony and do loads of different masters because it's just like words, but then it will mean something within it because I'll find a core that holds it together.
Rana asks, do you read around your subject when you're writing?
Yeah, if I have like commissioned work. So I was commissioned to do something for the National Grid. Yeah, the National Grid, the electric company. And they gave me loads of notes. And I felt like a bit of a detective because they were like, oh, you can't leak these notes because they're to do with like, you know, blah, 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 which I can't say. They're watching. But yeah, you know, and then I had to base it around that. And then I remember, and then there was, they said, because they didn't, in the brief that they gave me, they just said they wanted a rap. So I wrote a rap and it was very technical. And then they said like, yeah, this rap's too technical. We just want like something really simple. And then I was like, oh, sorry, like you just asked for a rap. So I rapped and then we ended up having to redo it, but I had to simplify it and dumb it down and make it really, really like sort of child play like this, like you'd nod to it like this, you know, and
so are you saying we're going to see you in adverts selling electricity?
Oh, the project's already done. It was like it was a really good project. We had the head of the National Grid in the States. He flew down actually to record what we wrote, and I did like a transatlantic workshop with them, and it was cool. It was really interesting.
Do you write to a beat or without? And do you make your own beats? Or do you use a computer?
I can make beats, but because my mind just races at like 1,000 miles per hour. It's just like, and I just want to write to it. I tend to work with other producers that, I work with other industry producers or producers who send me instrumentals. And if I don't have any at the time, then I can just go online. I'm resourceful when it comes to having beats and looking for beats. I always say to my students, because they're like, oh, I've got nothing to write to. And I'm like, don't ever say that to me, because we when we were younger, we had to wait like 5 hours to just download one beat. Like, you know, now you have a whole YouTube, like internet full of instrumentals that you can practice writing to.
Lots of compliments on the chat, but we have kept you for an hour. So I think I'd like to thank everyone for their questions and their wonderful.
Yeah, thank you all.
And particularly to you, Xidus, because it's been wonderful to be able to talk to you again, but this time seeing you and not just hearing you. And we definitely look forward to having you come onto campus to do a workshop when we're back on campus, perhaps in the next academic year. And that would be wonderful for our students to meet you and do some work with you. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for getting me involved, and thank Faye for introducing us, the BBC. And yeah, thank everyone for being a part of this, and some amazing questions. And I wish I could have just like seen you and you know, felt the energy of having everyone there, but this was so good. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.